Well, here we go, guys. Married at First Sight UK, episode 5, I think it is. Now, this is the episode where we're going to see Alex get married, and he's going to marry Holly. And some of you may be aware that Alex has been accused of rather disturbing behaviour by several women, and it's been covered in the news, but Channel 4 have been quite quiet about it. Apparently, also, he's been jailed, allegedly by the RAF, because Alex was a member of the RAF and asked them if he could do this show, and they said no. So he went into the show anyway, and when he returned, he was jailed by the RAF, and now I think he's left the RAF. So my real concern here is that he is marrying a woman who already has a child and seems like she's been hurt in the past and is looking forward to finally meeting the one. And she isn't aware of his past, and I'm very concerned that he's going to treat her as he has allegedly treated these other women. So it's very odd to see and very uncomfortable, I think. If what we've read is true, it's really not good at all. Now we also have Orson here and Richelle, who are getting married. Orson seems like a really nice man, very tall, ex-cricketer, successful in his business. And Richelle is also successful in her business, but seems very focused on herself and her life, and whether the two can actually combine and find some common ground, I'm not entirely sure. There we go, so here we go. Right, so we had Holly and Alex's wedding, which was incredibly lively, I have to say. And I think Alex really got the whole room on his side when he came in and he gave roses to Holly's mum. I mean, everyone loved that.
You, Mum?
I am, Mum, yeah. Thank you. You know, you start here to me a ball.
How's Mum? Your Mum? You okay?
And then when Holly walked in, they all applauded, especially Alex's family. They clearly like her. The whole room was in rapturous applause. So it was a really lively ceremony.
Oh, yes. Oh, God. Are you okay?
Yeah, not bad.
You smell so nice.
You look good, man.
You look really good.
And it was quite nice to watch. And then after the ceremony, they're taking pictures, and she tells him that she has kids. And his reaction is not particularly enthusiastic. And she can tell, even though she really likes him, she can tell he's not particularly enthusiastic about the kids. He's like a bit zoned out about it. And I get it, because it's extra responsibility for him. But I don't think he's going to say, oh, I can't go further because of the kids. I think he's going to say that he wants to carry on, because I think he's well aware that by saying the opposite, he's going to look absolutely terrible. And I think he cares about the way he looks, judging by the way he looks after himself. So there we go.
Got any children?
I don't. Do you?
Yeah.
Okay. I got you though, man. Don't worry.
At the moment, I'm getting really good vibes, but I can't say whether he's going to be a part of my future with the children. So I'm going to remain open-minded and give this guy a chance.
We'll see what happens.
I will.
We'll see what happens. It is a bit of a shock that Holly's got children. I wasn't expecting it. I don't know how I really feel about it. So we'll see.
So, Orson and Richelle's wedding, well, that all goes fine. No real problems there. It's nice, etc., etc. But it's kind of after the wedding where things start to happen. Like, they're getting their photographs taken, and Richelle will not stop asking this man questions. I mean, you can even tell the photographer in the room is irritated by it because he's not getting the poses he wants. And she's not listening to him and ignoring him and just asking endless questions. I mean, the questions kind of start at the kind of relevant sort of level, i.e. what do you do, what's your job? And by the end of it, she's kind of grappling and kind of asking him, what shoe size are you? What does it matter now? Who cares?
So you've been to Guyana?
Of course, I play cricket.
You're a cricketer?
Yeah. Okay.
I don't play anymore. I'm
Okay.
now an engineer. What do you do?
What kind of engineer?
Project engineer. Like,
What company is it?
well, I've got
How long have you been here?
20 years.
Have you been married before, by
No.
the way? When were you last single?
I'll explain to you properly.
This is
John.
really interesting.
The questions, probably received 40 million questions in the space of 30 seconds.
How did your mum feel about you doing this?
You know what these Caribbean mums are like.
How old's your mum then?
My mum's 60 in a couple of weeks.
What size shoes are you?
Just look at me for a second.
I'm
Get this shot.
stalling. I'm guessing 12 or 13, possibly. Maybe even 13. What are they? Like, let me see if I guess it's right.
It just felt a bit overwhelming.
Poor chap, later on at the reception, he tells his friends that it is actually bugging him, the amount of questions. He does make a good point. You know, if you're married to someone, you have the whole rest of your lives to ask these questions. So Richelle can spend the next 50 years asking him what shoe size he is, if she really wants to.
How you not connected? Like, the energy looks good between you two.
The energy looks good. Like, it's really good. The only thing that has happened so far on the first thing is like she has asked me probably about 40 million questions. And I can't deal with that. A little bit concerning. It can overwhelm him if it's too much too soon. It may be nerves, it may be excitement, it may be just wanting the person to be the right person right now, which is what I hope it is, and there's nothing more sinister behind it. We've got time.
Yeah.
Like, we've got time.
Yeah.
You know, let's quit before we could walk.
Now, back at Alex and Holly's wedding, we have another best friend of the bride. Do you remember, who was it last week? Polly had Alfie, who was her best friend, who she seemed to confide in and was very close to. And now we have Jack, who is Holly's best friend, and, you know, has known her since she was 9, etc. And I always think, you know, these kind of best friends who are so incredibly close, I don't see how they can fit in when someone's married, because surely she's not going to be closer to her best friend than she is to her husband. But that's by the by, because he speaks to Alex, and Alex tells him, oh yeah, I'm not so sure about the kids, that fatherly instinct hasn't really kicked in, and admits that his preference was not for someone with kids.
The version that you'll meet of Holly now is the best version that you will see, and I think that's a healed version of her. And that obviously with her children and stuff. Yeah. One of them's a teenager. How does that make you feel, like, getting involved in that?
I'll keep it real with you, bro. When I first came into this, because I don't have kids of my own.
Yeah.
I don't have them fatherly instincts. Because I haven't had to have them fatherly instincts. So it was a preference if they didn't have kids. But you know what it is with me? If I fall head over heels for somebody, you overlook all of that shit and you just love that person.
I've opened up to Jack. It's not the children itself, it's about me not having those fatherly instincts, and I think he understands where I'm coming from.
The main thing is, we've got a solid foundation.
Yeah.
I couldn't ask for anything more.
His preference was no children. Does Holly know this, or are you telling me this is the first person that's hearing it? Because if so, I need to let Holly know.
And Jack decides to pass that information on to Holly, who's clearly not happy about it.
The topic of, like, you know, the kids. I just said what my preference was no children. So I was like, wait, what?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sip your wine. Gather yourself.
Wait a minute. I am gutted right now. He hasn't been instantly honest with me when I told him. My kids are my life, so if he's not a guy that wants to have children or be around children, that's going to be a big problem for me.
Problem is, surely, that Alex would have told the makers of the show that I don't want someone with kids. So we shouldn't really be angry with Alex, because he would have told them, well, I don't want someone with kids, and they've put him with someone with kids. So even though I'm sure he's going to be fine with it once he gets his head around it, I don't really think we should treat him as an enemy because he's not getting what he asked for, even though I appreciate people are not a commodity. you know, until we get AI robots and that kind of thing. Then they will become kind of a commodity, won't they? But that's a completely other video, guys. So at the end of the wedding day, Orson decides to give Richelle some feedback and says, you know, I feel you're a bit extra, you know, you're talking a lot, asking a lot of questions. And Richelle seems to take it on the chin and says, okay, and listens, and acts like, yeah, I understand, blah, blah, blah. But then she kind of caveats it by saying, ask me again in a week's time. So she's clearly expecting there to be some sort of ruckus and rupture, you know, as things move forward. I don't think she's completely sold on Orson.
This from basically us talking in, you know, the little snippets that we've had.
Extra in what way though?
Just maybe going over the top. Do you feel like you're a bit like that? Or
Over
you feel
the
like,
top?
or you feel like you're a little bit more chill?
You'd have to give me an example for me to know what you mean when you say over the top.
Like, when we first met, I was like, oh my God, like, she's beautiful. Like, I loved what I saw. But I felt like I was getting, like, so much questions, you know?
Was it cut too much?
Yeah, and I was like,
intense.
oh my God, like, ooh, I need to breathe. Like, I need to breathe.
We've literally just got married. So for him to say, oh, he's overwhelmed with questions, what do you expect? We've just got married.
I have to tell you how I feel. Like, I promise you,
Felt
to
there
be
was too
honest.
many
Yeah,
questions.
like, that's me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no,
and I
no,
know
of
you're going to be
course.
the same with me. And I feel like once we have
definitely,
that mutual respect,
definitely.
you
And
go
I
a
will
long way.
try to empathise, you know, with you, because I do appreciate I need to listen. And if I do it, then just say, you're doing it.
I'm glad that you said that because I want to get to understand you. You could be my wife for the rest of my life. Yeah. Imagine that.
I could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why have
You're
you...
a glutton for punishment.
Oh my God. Pray for me.
I definitely appreciate how straightforward Orson was. On the surface, he definitely seems like he's an alpha male that I wanted. But ask me again in a week.
Then, of course, we have Alex, who, after Jack's interference, now decides to accept the kids and say, oh, you know, you, Holly, you come as a package with the kids. I think we all saw this coming. We knew he wasn't going to say no.
I think they can be around my children.
I know you're a little bit worried about me, but I know that you come as a package. You've got two beautiful little children, and I just want you to know that I'm here to embrace that. And after the connection that we've had today, I don't see anything that's going to stop us, to be fair. Just keep being you, man.
And you keep being you and we're going to be fine.
We will be.
And then to top it all off, he gives Holly the flowers he actually gave to Holly's mum. He stole them back from her, guys, and now gives them to Holly. What a rogue! I'm joking, of course. They're different flowers, I think. I mean, to be honest, the budget's probably quite tight on the show, so they could be exactly the same ones for all we know. Now, the trailers for the next episodes have kind of given away that things are going to get quite rough between both Alex and Holly and Richelle and Orson, as well as the other two couples, with the exception, it would seem, of Sasha and Ross. But that's all coming up. What did you make of tonight's episode? What do you think about these couples? I have to say, guys, even though finishing this episode, I come out of it thinking, well, Alex and Holly were a bit more engaging in terms of a couple, I just can't get over what's been reported about Alex. I cannot see past it. So, because he comes across in the show so charming and nice, I'm concerned that we know the real Alex because we've heard about it through all these news reports, and it's dangerous and unsettling. But there we go. You know, people have made decisions. They decided to keep him on the show. They haven't decided to do anything, as far as I know. And Channel 4 even admitted, well, everyone on the show's got a clean DBS check, as if that means that's fine, you know, which it isn't, because a clean DBS check doesn't mean that much at all. But anyway, let me know what you thought, and we shall be back tomorrow, well, probably the day after tomorrow, because I'm actually busy tomorrow night, to talk more about Married at First Sight. And with that, a very good evening.